Hello, my friends, and welcome. Welcome to another session with the older man. Today, we're going to talk about Bumble and their new dating ad campaign. In other words, we're going to talk about relationships, finding love on dating apps. Yes, we're back to this one subject again. Simply because, hey, how else do you meet people in mass in today's day and age where the leave me alone and the me too and the men are scary and I want the bear instead of the man and I want to be left alone and gosh, it's a bloody nightmare. And who created this crap? Who? Woman did this. And now look at where we are. This is why you don't put women in control of these things. In the old days, hey, it was simple. You see a girl, hey, baby, hey, you shout. You tell her you were interested. If you were too rude, you were shut down. If you were too nice, they didn't like you. If you were in the middle, you were okay. But you had to be tall, you had to be handsome, you had to be something. Otherwise, women weren't picking you. The same thing applies today. But the problem is female standards are so ridiculously high. But why? Why? This is what women don't get and what has been pushed. And before I get into the app, we need to address this idea of standards. What is a freaking standard? And why are women so far removed from what regular standards are? So let me break it down in a few simple steps. And I don't even have to write this down. I'm just going to give it to you straight from my freaking head. Number one, women are allowed to be delusional. And the entire society tells her she can do that and be okay with it. So let's start with that one simple premise. Okay? What do I mean by you can be delusional? In other words, you don't have to operate in reality. You can put on makeup, you can wear a wig, you can put on lashes, you can get a BBL. You can do every single enhancement to your body and pretend, and other people have to pretend with that you are that person that you have just created. Plus, you cannot be criticized for your weight. The opposite sex have to ineffectively accept you even if you are grotesquely overweight, even if you are obese. No one can criticize and say that is not okay. You get to operate in that freaking fantasy world to the point where an obese woman can just glorify in her obeseness. And we, men, and all society have to accept that is just you, girl, and you're empowered. No man is allowed to tell you that, no, you are not someone I desire. So that is the delusion that you can operate in. On the other hand, you are online, you get to use filters. Okay? You get to use every single enhancement to make you even 10 times more beautiful, right? And that is the illusion that you operate in. That, for you, that is your reality. Now, put that aside. Then add to that, you can operate as a child, irresponsible, without any responsibility and accountability. You can go out and you can rack up massive amount of credit card debt, student loan debt.
I have $40,000 in credit card debt. 40. So let's talk about it.
You can go to colleges that accept you on just pretty much anything because you get to operate from a point of I'm a female, I get X, Y, and Z. So society caters to you.
I'm telling you, it's a frigging problem.
And I'm saying to you, thank you, miss. And then all of a sudden you start to be angry.
Why would you say thank you, miss? I don't.
Because I'm trying to be polite.
But how do you know I identify as a miss? I might be a miss.
Identify?
I might be something else.
I don't know. I'm not asking for identification ID. I'm just saying thank you,
Well, I
miss.
think it was disrespectful.
How is it disrespectful?
Because you don't.
That gives you power. So now you got delusion of looks, delusion of power, because you know that you can marry a man and get away with doing anything in a divorce. You can abuse a man physically in the street and he can't hit you. You can verbally abuse a man and tell him he ain't shit, he's dusty, he ain't this, he ain't that. You can tell a man everything negative and get away with it, but the man cannot do it the other way. You can go out and you can slap the crap out of a man and other men will come to your rescue when that man retaliates.
What, bitch? Bitch wet! Bitch wet!
So you get to operate, my friend, in a space that is exceptional. And as far as you're concerned, you are exceptional. Until it comes to the point where you need to find a man who sees you in your delusion and also accept you as real. But
32 years old, I'm 5'2", I weigh 200 pounds. Super smart and caring. All 4 holes are acceptable. Like, why am I still single?
on the other hand, let's look at the men. Men don't get to wear makeup. Men don't get to be beautiful. Men do not have any value when he does not have any money. For you ladies, it's easier for you to put on makeup. It's easy for you to disguise yourself. Men don't have that option to be beautiful. He don't have the option to get taller. He don't have the option to suddenly come into a pile of money one day by just magically making it appear with some sort of glitter. He can lie about it, but eventually he's going to get caught out. Women have caught on to that. Tinder swindler and all of the other con men that have tried to con women. And every time one of these guys get called out, he goes to prison. However, every day a woman is swindling a man out of his money that he's worked his ass off for, she could divorce him and leave him in no time and take his money. Everything is geared towards women's happiness. Whew. Am I painting a clear enough picture for you ladies to understand?
Time to leave the broke, ladies, it's time to leave the broke boys and men with no direction in the dust. If you're tired of dating men that can't support you or aren't at the level that you are at, you've got to check out Lexi Dating. Lexi is an exclusive community full of high-end and successful individuals. So if you're tired of dating men with no direction, you should check out Lexi Dating.
Men, it's time to leave the dumb who think the average man's salary is 6 figures in the dust. If you're tired of dating annoying independent boss babes who think they're elite when they're average at best, check out Trad Wife Dating. It's a community of kind, respectable, childbearing individuals. So if you're tired of dating girls who accuse you of having no direction when they medicate themselves for having no direction themselves, check out Trad Wife Dating, where a woman knows her place. You want to say one?
You see how this shit works? You see, women are able to do that and get away with it. That's the world we're living in right now. That's why dating apps are not working. So because you have these incredible standards for yourself, women, you have this opinion of yourself that is so high up on the totem pole. And of course, because of hypergamy, a woman needs a man who's earning at least 60% more than her. She needs that man that is above her, not realizing that that isn't her level. She should be way down here. But society have told her that she is up here. Dating apps. And of course, everybody online who's been in her DMs telling her that she's amazing because she put on some freaking makeup, she thinks that she's up here and she deserves a man up here. The problem with that, my dear, is not a lot of men are up there. We've heard this so many times, ladies. I don't understand why you don't get it. You're not up there. 90% of you are not up there. But yet 100% of you want that 10% man. You think that you deserve, no other human deserves another human being. But ladies, you think that you're up here and that 10% man up there, you need him. You deserve him when you have not done any work to get there. So you start talk about standards. Your standards are not even remotely close for a 10% man, but then you want him. Whew. I feel tired just saying all of that. But I have to preface that in order for us to understand what is going on with Bumble and the dating market. Let's look at this whole Bumble debacle. Bumble came out with a new ad campaign because they realized that no one is using the freaking app anymore. Well, at least not a lot of men that the women want. Because remember, our standards are up there, and the only men that do use apps are the dusties. So let's listen to what women are saying, okay?
And I say this as a seasoned marketer.
Bumble needs help. And I say this as a seasoned marketer. There are 2 major challenges that I'm seeing right now. One being this billboard and this billboard. I just have to ask, Bumble, what focus groups or data led you to this campaign and messaging? And on top of all of these seemingly tone-deaf billboards, Bumble's founder is also claiming that AI personas are the future of dating, which people are just having a field day with on Twitter.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to examine a few people who are talking about this Bumble ad and where they've screwed up. And then I'm going to break it down. I'm going to show you guys that Bumble isn't screwing up. Bumble are in a desperate state to stay relevant in a market that is dying because men are no longer using apps. It's the men that are departing. And I'm going to break it down for you guys. Listen, subscribe, guys. Subscribe. Join our membership system. Book a chat with me if you'd like to have a chat, or if you'd like me to be on your podcast, I'll be open to that as well. All right, let's get into it.
Let's talk about the new Bumble ad campaign and these billboards that went up recently. A vow of celibacy is not the answer. You know full well a vow of celibacy is not the answer. Thou shalt not give up on dating to become a nun. Bumble has been teasing a rebrand for a while, saying that dating needs a wake-up call. They've been using historic images of women who are exhausted from the dating scene, and then this is what they rolled out. What we know about this, number one, is women have raised their standards and it's working. These ads are so desperate. They're giving major pick-me energy and major where's my hug energy.
That is BS. Women's standards have always been ridiculously high. That's why they're not having any success with apps. That's why so many of them are lonely. So what we're seeing now, my friends, are women getting desperate. This idea of celibacy is BS. More women are giving up the panani free. They're not celibate. More men are not committing to women, but they're still opening their legs to men. So this idea of celibacy is BS.
Something to keep in mind is that women are the product when it comes to dating apps. Dating apps are here to make money. They are not nonprofit organizations, and the product that they are selling are people. Think about it.
Yes, she said women are the product and people are the product. In other words, men and women are the product. So you're contradicting yourself. Listen, it's not just men looking for women, it's women looking for men. Women have a much harder time finding good men. Men are the freaking prize, regardless of what you want to say to yourselves. There are a lot less attractive men than there are attractive women. And when we're measuring attractiveness, women look for men who have resources that could provide for her and a family. There are a lot less of them than there are women wearing makeup.
And that he is investing from the get-go. Stop saying yes to these low value, low investment dates, okay?
I'm not going to say beautiful woman because men and women have the same degree of beauty. It's just that women wear makeup and they think that they're above men. That's the difference. That's the only difference. The majority of today's women are massively overweight, especially in the West. So your standard based on a man's desire to you are extremely low. What you want to do is you want men to accept you the way you are because you don't want to do any work.
If dating apps really wanted you to find a long-term, healthy, happy, amazing relationship, even marriage, then why do so many of them have multiple month memberships that you can buy, year-long annual memberships that you can buy, or even Bumble has a lifetime membership that you can get?
Those payment options are not for you, my friend. Those payment options are for Chad and Tyrone. They use these dating apps like a freaking Uber service for punani. Yes, these are men who don't want to commit. They have all of the perks that they have in life already, and they're not going to commit to you. And because they have the status, they have the freaking money, they have the looks, they know that, you know what? Lifetime membership, I can go and pick and choose whichever freaking woman I want today. This time of the week, I want a little juicy, fat one. I want a beautiful one. I want whatever it is. These guys can pick off the dating app. And you all get frustrated because you think you have a chance with him.
Gorgeous girls don't cry over a boy in a car. Gorgeous girls don't need a boy. I'm so sick of it. Like, I'm so sick of not feeling like a priority to you.
I need somebody to have my back. I do. I'm admitting it. I could say I'm a strong, independent woman that doesn't need no man, but I am saying I want a man and I need a man.
And If you want proof of that, this is the reason why these social media pages came up on Facebook. In every major city around the world, even here in Dubai, are we dating the same guy? That's why they came up, because all of you are picking the same freaking top 10% of men. But you all are delusional to think that these men are going to tie you down or want to be tied up by you, an average woman, when all he wants is just to pound those guts out, have a great time, and send you on your way. And he will do that a few times if you're sort of nice. And then you will go on TikTok and then you will cry about it. Oh, he ghosted me. Oh, he did this, he did that.
He ghosted me once and then he ghosted me twice. The second time before he ghosted me, he's like, I want to make it up to you. I want to take you out on a date. I can't stop thinking about you. You did nothing wrong.
All of you are crying about the same guy that have done this to hundreds of women online. But you don't get it because you think your standards are up there, but they're not. They're not up there with that 10% guy. That 20% guy, you're not there. You're average like the majority of men that you do not pick. And that's what these dating apps are trying to tell you. Lower your damn standards. You're all not going celibate. Cut that shit out. All of you are still sleeping with the same bloody men. This idea of celibacy.
So if they really cared about you finding a great relationship, why do they have all those payment options? And nearly all dating apps have different tiers that if you pay money, you will get shown to more qualified matches, to better matches, more compatible matches. Because bottom line is they're here to make money off of you. When Bumble first came out, it was unique in that it positioned itself as female friendly or women friendly because once a match happened, women were the ones who had the opportunity to initiate a conversation and send the first message. Now, back when I was using dating apps, I actually didn't like Bumble for this specific reason because it puts men in their feminine energy. It puts men in their princess energy with women.
Oh man, it's frustrating listening to women in their crap. They had to do this because women got frustrated with the amount of men pushing at them, the amount of so-called dusties making the move at them. The average guys that were on their level, they were frustrated by the amount of those men that they didn't want hitting on them. It gave women the opportunity to only converse with the top 10% of men on those apps. That's why it was created. And those women will break the rules for Chad and make rules for the average dude. The foodie date guys, she could pick those if she wants. The guys that she needs to hit, she can pick those. That's why Bumble identified that and made that rule. I don't know why you're even pretending like this isn't so.
A study showed that 86% of women say they want a man to make the first move.
Which is why Bumble is a stupid app. Even when the app requires them to make the first move, they still don't want to make the first move. That's why when you match with a girl on Bumble and nothing happens and she doesn't actually say anything, it's because she's waiting for you to extend the match. And then that's confirmation of you making the first move, and then she'll respond. Which is why when I was on there, I would say, just say hi, I'll take it from there, taking the onus off of them. It's crazy that they even got VC money at all because it's going against female nature.
Yeah, exactly.
So if they really cared about you finding a great relationship, why do they have all those payment options? And nearly all dating apps have different tiers that if you pay money, you will get shown to more qualified matches, to better matches, more compatible matches.
You know what those tiers are for? The qualified matches. Those tiers are designed to suck men in, to make them feel that if they pay more money, they can get better and better women. Because the majority of the women that they are matching with are usually baby mamas, overweight, old as hell, and really got a shitload of problems. That tier is designed to try to get men to spend more money on even better women. That's what those tiers are there for. Remember, these apps have to balance between catering to women and catering to men. But you have to understand how they make their money. Most of it are coming from men. They want men to pay. And these women know it.
Message. Because clearly, women aren't being as active on dating apps. Women aren't initiating as much. Women are just tired and fed up with the bare minimum effort. And so The apps are needing to do things to drive more engagement. This is yet another.
Yes, that part is true. But the problem is because men were initiating and saying hello and not enough women were coming back because the women would look at all of these men as dusties because they weren't sitting next to a plane. Women would nitpick the hell out of every single man that she matched. Women are on these apps picking men that did not qualify based on the photo. And that's not the way women should be picking their mate. Men are the ones that pick women visually, not the vice versa. But most women nowadays are being so masculine. If the man isn't sitting in a G7, if he's not driving or sitting or standing next to a G-Wagon, Bentley, Rolls Royce, if he don't have some sense of luxury in the photo, if he has his hat on the wrong way, or if anything, she will nitpick the crap out of that photo to determine if that's a good man or not. You see it a lot on these pop the balloon shows. Initially, the man comes out and she will take one look at him, even if the man has muscles. If his pants is too tight, if his shoes don't match the belt, she will nitpick the dumbest crap. And then when the man says who he is or what he does, you could see their brains going, oh shit. You've had so many of them, okay, I'll take my balloon back. Because their natural instinct is to eliminate the man based on looks. That was never the case with women in the past. Women should learn to pick the man based on how he could function as a good provider and a protector. Those are the things that should stimulate her, not his fashion sense. Only on these pop the balloon shows you can see the true dynamics and the true inner workings of how women think in today's day and age. But of course, it's the same thing that plays out on these dating apps. If the picture isn't properly exposed and he's not doing the correct pose, she's eliminating the guy because he's not Instagrammable. He don't have the aesthetics that she could show off to her friends. That's all. It blows my freaking mind. And then they wonder why they're not reaching the right guy.
This is yet another indication of how desperate they are. They've changed the one thing that differentiated them. Personally, I think this is a good move overall, just from my past preferences with using dating apps. However, it just, again, shows how desperately they need to breathe new life into this app because clearly they're struggling.
Yeah, they are struggling because men aren't getting any success. Every woman that goes on an app can get a date today. Every single woman, 100%. Even if she's obese, she can get a date today. Men go months upon months before they get even one match. And those are average guys. They are struggling. So men, we've been referring men away from these apps from day one because a lot of men are now coming together. They're listening to other men who have basically showed them how they're being scammed on these apps. Men are saying, no, I'm not interested. Remember, men are paying. Most women are not. So they're losing money. Men are saying, listen, I'm not a sucker anymore. I'm out. Men are either becoming passport bros or they're going MGTOW, going their own way. Men going their own way. Just saying, you know what, enough. Anytime I need my sex, I'm going to go to a pro, guaranteed that whatever I pay, I'm going to get it, and I'm going to move on. I don't need to deal with the hassle. That's what's happening.
There has been a huge rise in women practicing celibacy.
BS. Women do not practice celibacy. There's no freaking way that women are practicing celibacy when they could just go out on the street or just go on any app and get some dick. I don't know where you're coming with this crap. She's going to say this multiple times. I'm going to feel like I want to stop her, but you just remember that. All studies have shown. There was a massive study on CNN that showed who's having sex. More women are having sex than they are men. Almost 3-to-1. Why? Because most women are sleeping with the same guys. If they were sleeping with their individual men, it would be both parties are equally having the same amount of sex. But that isn't happening. So we know for certain that the majority of women are sleeping with the very few men. This isn't rocket science, guys. You know this.
4B movement from Korea has gotten some traction here in the United States, and women are just tired of settling for poor treatment and bare minimum effort from men when it comes to dating and relationships. Women have significantly raised their standards. Many are practicing celibacy, and some have even decided to stop dating altogether.
The only reason why you will stop dating altogether is because you have aged out and you no longer can even remotely attract men that you want. Simple.
And these ads are completely gaslighting and shaming women for choosing themselves. Women are unhappy with the state of dating, and rather than address women's valid concerns, these ads are basically saying, nah girl, shh. Women are saying, no, we won't stand for XYZ anymore. And these ads are basically saying, nah, you know you want it. Stop it, girl, you're being silly. One of them literally has a woman's mouth covered. Interesting, huh? Women are saying no, and these ads are saying, nah, you don't really mean that. What does that sound like? And interesting how this campaign is targeting women and not addressing men at all.
Because these people realize that women are the problem. This is the thing. No accountability at all. I'm going to play the victim. Oh, look, the ad has the woman's mouth covered. Victim. We are victims. We're told to shut up. Yeah. What this woman have failed to recognize is that the company realized that the females are the problem. They're trying to help you. But responsibility and accountability? Hell no. No. We refuse. We refuse. It's not our fault. Our standards are high, and they're high for a reason. Because we are women. We are strong. How's that working out for you? Show me the droves of men that are just running at you with these high standards. Just show me that. Show me the results of that. It's not happening. It's not happening. That's why you're on here bitching about the ad. That's why a ton of you are on TikTok saying how lonely you are. We see hundreds of thousands of videos of you all bitching and moaning because you're lonely and you can't find a man. Where are all the good men gone? I can't find a good man. Stay with your standards.
Bumble is supposed to be a women-friendly dating app, and these ads are literally telling women how to date and what to do with their bodies. They used to be about women making the first move, and now they're basically telling women what moves to make. Women are choosing celibacy and choosing...
All right, she's just repeating herself with this nonsense about choosing to be celibate. Which one of you know that women out there are being celibate? You let me know. Gentlemen, you let me know which woman you know that have shut down the punani. Please report in. All 208,000 of you out there, let me know. I just watched this show, this comedian... Ali Wong on Netflix. If you guys haven't watched it, watch 5 minutes of it. It'll be a waste of your time if you watch even more. If you watch even more of it than that, good on you. I fell asleep in it. I found her first show extremely funny when she was married. Now she's divorced. And this woman is throwing herself out there and just blatantly telling everybody about it in her show. The entire comedy show is about how many men she's railing, how many men are getting in there. This is a mother. Just think about that shit. This is a mother. And she have women in the audience laughing. The problem is she's not funny at all with this show, man. It was literally painful to watch. Like I said, I fell asleep in the problem around less than 20 minutes of it. I think I passed. I fell asleep. And I was so looking forward to sort of a follow-up to her former show. But it's literally all about her sex life and how much dick she's getting. Think about that. That's what comedy has come into, where a woman can blatantly get out there and say that. And this woman here gave me one of the best analogies for a promiscuous woman right here.
I think that in order to be a high value woman, you can't be a promiscuous woman. And I don't care what anybody says. I think that high value means exclusivity, and exclusivity means everyone can't get it. If anybody can get at you, that's not high value. Not to be confused with valuable. If you look at diamonds, all diamonds are valuable. But some of them have the highest value, whereas other ones get crushed into little baby parts and are the fillers for other pieces of jewelry. All valuable, but high value is different from valuable, especially if you're a high value feminine woman that wants a high value masculine man. You cannot be promiscuous. I'm sorry, body count matters.
So, wait, what? Okay, wait a minute.
Oh, this sister just broke it down hard. How the hell you can consider yourself a high-value woman if you just throw yourself over to everybody? Value is based on exclusivity. Perfect analogy. This is what women don't understand. This is how men see women. And value is based on the consumer. It isn't based on how you evaluate yourself. That's the difference. Just like it doesn't matter whether a man say he's high value or not. If no woman wants him and every man decides that, yeah, you're not somebody I want in my circle, then you have no value to anyone. You see what happens when I flip the script? Does it make sense now, ladies? Please understand that. But remember, men and women are not the same. It is asymmetrical. A man who can get a lot of women are desired by those women. The man who can't get any punani whatsoever, no woman wants him. But it's the opposite with men. The woman who can get a lot of men but chooses not to have any and stay exclusive to one or a few, very few, that is a woman that is desired and valued by many men. That's the difference in the sexes. I love this video here, because this is what's actually happening. So my friends, I know this was a little longer one, but I needed you guys to really understand this lesson today. These dating apps are finished. People are waking up and realizing that they're not getting what they want from it, both males and females. A good man will always have options. All he has to do is buy a ticket and go somewhere else. Here's the solution to everything, which I doubt it's going to happen. Women have to actually lower their standards. And the way to do that, ladies, one sure way to do that is that after you have taken off the weave, all the lashes, your makeup, and strip yourself down to your underwear, look at yourself in a full-length mirror, and then ask yourself, if this body was a man's, would you love it? And what rating, what standard would you put on it? That is what you need to do. Take off everything that you adorn yourself with, stand in a full-length mirror, and ask yourself honestly, would you rate yourself at the level that you currently put yourself at? Be honest with yourself. And don't just do it one day. Do it once a week. Then, my friend, you will understand why you're not getting any success in dating. Visualize that on a man. Then ask yourself, would you date that? All right? Just a little exercise for you all to do. I hope you've gotten this far so that you could do this exercise. Because we need to get back to reality, my friends. And if you're not back in reality, you will not have success at dating a good man on your level. So, my friends, listen. Subscribe if you haven't. By all means, join our membership system. Just follow this link below. And of course, book a session with me. If you have not done so yet, you're missing out. All right? Let me be that mentor, that father, that man that can give you some common sense answers. Okay? So until next time, my friends, remember, whenever in doubt, always, always ask an older man. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.